everyone, Vance Farino, Senior Exercise Physiologist for the Cliffs. I'm going to do today with you a golf warm-up. Now, one of the paradigms we have always taught athletes from the youngest ages, from kids up through professionals, is you always warm up to play. You do not play to warm up. If you go to the range and start hitting balls, you are not warming up. That's a form of playing. So getting your body prepared for it is really important. It's for two reasons. One, especially for those early morning rounds, you've been in bed all night, you're all curled up. Now you're going to come up, roll out of bed, grab your cup of coffee, and then tell your body that it's got to get through this whole complicated biomechanical movement. Really hard to do. That affects two things. It's going to affect, one, your ability to get your club on plane is going to be affected. You're just tight. You're not going to be able to move very well. And in doing that, if you're on the range and you start scuffing balls and you're not doing well in the range, the mind just starts going, man, this is going to be one of those days, isn't it? The other part is just potential for injury. If my body's stiff and cold and I sit there and I take a shot at a ball and I get that little wince of pain. So a good warm-up is really important to do, and there's a lot of ways to go about it. Patrick, who's helping me here today, and I will put some more together to give you alternatives. But one of the ways I mostly will do this on the range, I just take one of my wedges, this little lob wedge, and I'll go through a series of patterns. And those of you who've heard me speak before know I talk about moving in 3 planes of motion and all of that, and that's what we're going to touch on. Now again, if you're going to do this, I recommend doing it very gently to feel these out, because position is important. Now in a previous video, we went through patterns of stepping and reaching. I suggest go back and look at that, because now we're taking that whole concept and applying it using the golf club. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my right foot, and I am going to step back, not real far, just a little bit. I'm going to take my left hand and reach the club around where I'm going to reach for my foot. As I step back, this hand comes in, and then I reach down. I can come back up, and I can just go alternate side to side. Okay? So again, that's just taking the first motion we did in the previous video. We're just adding a little bit of rotation by having the hand reach around. On the second one we did in that previous video, we stepped and our hands reached up. Now as we're going to do it, we're going to add the club on this one. Very similar, but on this, as I step, and I'll start the first one to the camera, then change my angle. As I step toward the camera, as this foot goes, the knee goes forward, and then this hand is going to gently push this hand over my head to stretch all this out. Now you've got to be careful. If I get to the point where I start pushing too hard and my shoulders are stiff, I don't want to cause it, we're not looking to hurt the shoulder, we're looking to stretch it. So as I step forward, I take the club and I just gently push back. I'm pushing back. I get the stretch in the front of the hip, right through the abdomen, up and through the shoulder. A little bit gentle push. Now for simplicity, it might be easier just to do one side at a time. If you want to get creative, go back and forth, you can feel free to do that. Next we're going to do is we're going to go one step level by attaching those two positions. So now I have my club, I step back, and I just shoot this foot through. I step back, and I shoot this foot through. Okay, we call it pivoting off of that position. In the frontal plane, in this lateral plane, my club's going to come up, and as I step to my left, I'm just going to side bend, very much like you just saw in that previous video. So there's not a whole lot where the club is going to take a little extra pressure, but I can just drive it a little bit. And of course we did the lateral. And then I could take that and turn that into the pivot. I step out, and then I step across. I step out, and then I step across. In the rotational plane, there's a couple ways we're going to do it. First, mobilize the hip. Again, we're going to build off what we did last week by just taking the club. I'm going to take this, and as I step on this angle, I'll bring the club around. And as I step around, notice as I'm coming here, this hand is gently pushing this around my body. And then the other one is I'm going to step forward, and I bring this through. So I'm going to come in, I wrap this around, and I'll just drive that back. 10 count for all these is probably good. You can always do a little bit more if something feels extra tight. Then last two positions I'll do is I'll just get into my golf stance and I'll just take the club and pendulum it around. And I'm gently pushing as my hand, pushing to open up the chest, open up the chest. I just drive the club back and forth. And then the last one, on this one when we're pushing on it, we're opening up the whole chest wall. We're getting what we call thoracic rotation, hip rotation. But now I want to stretch out the posterior shoulder. Take the golf club by the head, get myself in that golf stance. This hand comes up underneath, and I'm just going to take this and I'm going to drive that back. So my right hand is now pushing that club up. Now on this one we can't rock back and forth because of the hand position, but I just drive that and get that nice stretch. Of course I'm going to switch myself around and do the same thing off of this side. Those stretches would be a good start, get you loosened up, do it right on the range, then move in and start hitting some balls.